next speaker is a lawyer, a photographer, and a poet. She was a criminal litigation attorney who has successfully defended several controversial cases in the past. After more than 2 decades of court litigation, she was fortunate to transition to real estate law, solving land disputes and providing remedies that would benefit both landowners and developers. An artist by heart, attorney Sheila loves photography and once served as a president for the Ayala Alabang Camera Club. She is also currently compiling her poems to fulfill her dream of publishing her own book of poetry. But above all these, Sheila is first and foremost a mother to her 4 kids, 2 boys studying to become lawyers themselves, another one soon to become an architect, and her only girl who is a talented writer at a very young age. Sheila's goal is to be able to inspire mothers to take an active role in shaping the future of our next generation by instilling love and kindness in the hearts of our children. Here to talk about applying the virtues of motherhood and promoting justice and upholding the law, live streaming from Alabang, Muntinlupa City, ladies and gentlemen, Attorney Anna Sheila C. Francia San Diego.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much, Ange, for the introduction. Happy Women's Month to everyone. In 1994, our country hosted the Miss Universe pageant for the second time. The question at the final round of that contest was, what for you is the essence of being a woman? I still vividly remember the answer of Miss India, because that was my favorite answer. So Shmita Sen replied, just being a woman is a gift from God. The origin of a child is a mother, a woman. She shows a man what caring, sharing, and loving is all about. Miss India won the Miss Universe that night. But not only that, she also won the hearts of millions of women around the world. You see, every woman may have a different answer to that question, but they're equally correct. My answer would be motherhood. Although not all women would be endowed with the capability to bear a child, that doesn't make them less of a woman. Remember, as what Miss India said, just being a woman is a gift in itself. Motherhood is truly a gift like no other. Of the many hats that we wear as a woman, my favorite is that of a mother's hat. It is amazing how profound happiness can be felt when you first hold your baby in your arms, how their smiles can brighten your darkest days, and how their hugs can just comfort you in so many ways. You know, we can even give our lives if that will save theirs. But mind you, that gift is laden with huge responsibilities. Remember what our Lola would used to say, that the easiest part of our journey to motherhood is giving birth. Yes, you see how that childbirth is being portrayed in movies, right? That excruciating pain of childbirth is actually the easiest part of motherhood. The hardest, the most challenging, and the most important role that we have as mothers would be raising good human beings. You know, growing up with limited resources, my mother taught me that no dream is impossible to achieve, that we create our own destiny. But more importantly, she taught me that no dream is worth pursuing if that would lessen your humanity. You see, wealth and success gained at the expense of others is meaningless. She showed me that kindness, compassion, and justice, love, it should take precedence in our journey to reach our goals. As a lawyer, I handled mostly criminal cases, and my clients are usually the ones accused of the crime. That is why I have frequented most of the city jails in Metro Manila and even the neighboring cities. And I am a usual visitor of the New Bilibid prison. And also in court hearings, my seatmates usually are the ones in orange or yellow shirts. Yes, the prisoners in detention. You know, in my decades of practice as a criminal defense attorney, I have made these observations. First, in city jails, especially in the New Bilibid prison, the usual visitors bringing in food, falling in line for hours under the heat of the sun, are old ladies. They're the mothers of the prisoners. And inside the courtrooms, attending hearings, especially during arraignment and promulgation of judgment. Arraignment, by the way, is when you are asked whether you are guilty or not. And the promulgation of judgment is when the judge actually rules whether you are guilty or not. In these instances, the mothers of the accused are always present in the courtroom. Can you imagine the painful experience, that the mothers of those accused are going through? They probably ask themselves this question: what have I done wrong as a mother? Could I have done something to prevent this? In my readings, I learned that studies show that these offenders were usually neglected during their formative years as a child. Most of them are disadvantaged socially, and they have abuse or parental issues. They lack self-control and the critical characteristics to become law-abiding citizens. So you see, the propensity to commit crime started the formative years of a child. Sometimes as parents, we are too focused on our children's achievements. We always remind them to get good grades, to train harder to win championship. That, sometimes they might think that these are the only things that's important for them in life. We may have forgotten to instill in them obedience and respect for authority, respect for rules around them, respect the rules of the school, respect our rules as parents. We have to set the right examples for them. Are we doing it? Or do we fake, do we encourage their absences by writing fake excuse letters? Do we beat red lights when we are driving with them? Or do we confront their teachers when they are subjected to disciplinary actions? You see, the concept of justice, love, kindness, and obedience are instilled or first learned at home. But same as the concept of hate, bigotry, intolerance, and disrespect to authority. All these are learned by our children as they grow up. And the environment that we provide them will determine how they would assimilate these concepts into their lives, into their core principles and beliefs as human beings. As mothers, we are our children's first teachers. And we're the ones who first set their standards of morality. So we need to be fully conscious of the kind of influence we have over them. We should always aim to make them better individuals, not just academically or in sports or in arts, but also in terms of character. There is a saying that goes, behind every successful man is a woman. That is so true, but I believe that that woman is the mother. Allow me to share with you some successful individuals and how their mothers played a great role in their lives and in their success. First, Barack Obama. He was raised by a single mom, a white woman who taught him that beneath our surface differences, we're all the same. She cheered him on and believed with great conviction that someday he can be president of the United States. And so he did. He became the first biracial American president. Then we have Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln had two mothers. Yes, two. His biological mother, Nancy, died when he was just 9 years old. But during his formative years, she taught him honesty, unkindness, and the love for learning. She taught him to read books, even though she wasn't formally educated herself. When she died, his stepmother came into his life, Sarah Bush. Sarah recognized the gift in him and promoted his intellectual gifts and make him pursue his intellectual development. They had such a beautiful relationship that Abraham Lincoln was quoted as saying that she was his best friend and that no son could ever love a mother the way he loved her. Then we have Mahatma Gandhi. The lasting impression that his mother, Putil Bai Gandhi, left to her son was saintliness. She was an extremely religious woman, and she played a great role in Mahatma Gandhi's understanding of the spirituality. The most important lesson that she taught him was that the greatest form of love is the willingness to sacrifice for others. What about our own national hero, Jose Rizal? No one is the greatest influence over his development other than his mother, Teodora Alonso. She was born into a wealthy family, well educated, but nevertheless persistent and worked hard on her own. She taught Jose Rizal how to read. She opened his eyes to the beauty of the written word, the soul behind the pages of every book. But she also made him understand the hate and inequality in our country at that time. She taught him discipline, justice, and that to treat every Indian as equals. You see, these lessons prepared Rizal to fight back for the mother that he loved so much. It was, in fact, the unfair persecutions that his mother suffered under the Spaniards that awakened the flame in him to write all these political writings and his advocacy for reforms that actually inspired the Philippine Revolution. Clearly, a mother has such great influence on a child's growth, and that what she teaches her children could either change or destroy the world. You see, mothers now shape the characters of our future leaders, and our future leaders will determine the kind of world that the future generation would live in. I understand that in the age of digital technology, it's much harder for us mothers to take control of our children's development. There's just too much distraction in the form of technology, like social media, computer games, reality shows. But if we can just be truly present in our children's lives, if we would hug them enough, if we would just care for them, talk to them every day, ask them about problems, their aspirations, and appreciate their work, I believe that we can touch their hearts. We can show them that even though the world would change, the concept of love, kindness, compassion, and justice would always remain the same. Remember that the amount of love that we give to our children will be proportionate to the amount of love that they would be capable of giving. Even the Bible said, we love because He first loved us. I am not a perfect mother, and I'm way too far to being a perfect lawyer. But I have a perfect dream for the next generation, which I would work so hard for to achieve despite my imperfections. So I call on every mother now to please join me and be with me in this advocacy to change the world one child at a time. Let me close my speech tonight by quoting a famous line from a poem by William Ross Wallace. This was written in 1865. Yes, 1865, but still relevant today. Will always be relevant. I love this poem because it reminds us to recognize the intrinsic power that we women has as mothers, the essence of being a woman. Let me read just a few. Women, how divine your mission here upon our natal sod. Keep, oh keep the young heart open, always to the breath of God. All true trophies of the ages are from mother love impearled, for the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world. Thank you very much. And I would like to dedicate this speech to all the mothers in the legal profession, especially the judges, the prosecutors, and so also the ones in the academy. I'd like to also dedicate this to the nuns in the convent, in the orphanages who act as mothers to the orphans. And of course, I would like to dedicate this speech to my dearest Inang, whose love and strength have always been a beacon of light that keeps me afloat wherever I go. All my love and gratitude, Mommy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.